Well, this morning I'm very, very excited because I'm going to share with you one of the newest product that we're launching this year. So this new product, this morning I'm going to share it with you, is called V-Estro. And then this afternoon, I'm going to share with you our biggest launch called the Orchestra. Okay, so let us start with V-Estro first. As you know, I've always said one thing. At EXL, we do not sell miracle cures. At EXL, we sell convenience. Miracle, they are inside the supermarket. But at EXL, we sell only merely convenient. We do not sell secrets. So with that, also the other thing is that we have to be aware is that at EXL, we also do not sell herbal medications. A lot of people, they confuse natural for something meaning healthy. Not everything natural means healthy. Take, for example, ma huang. Ma huang is a natural herb, but it doesn't mean it is healthy. So, in Chinese herbology, every herb, that means every plant food there is, we divide it into two sections. One of them, we call them herbal medicine. Okay, that means when you're sick, then you use them. And then the other section, we call them herbal food. That means you eat on a daily basis. Herbal medication, they are no different than Western medication. The only difference is in the herbs. They are less concentrated. Whereas in Western medication, they are extracted and concentrated. Take, for example, white willow bark. If I really concentrate white willow bark, it becomes aspirin because it contains salicylic acid inside. So not everything natural means it is healthy. So for EXL product, we only use a food herb. We do not use anything that is here for cure or for treatment. In nature, it is filled with surprises. So this morning, I'd like to introduce to you one of our newest products called V-Estro. Let me have the PowerPoints. Thank you. Okay. For all of those of you that have been with me throughout the 25 years, you're going to find that I kind of produce products also for my own needs. So, okay, so you can see all the way along the way, NutriFresh comes along when I have my kids. And so, I produce product, and that's one of the nice things about being a scientist. I can actually produce something that I want to use. So let us talk about V-Estro. And before we do that, I would like to talk about phytoestrogens. So let us talk about the different stages of menopause. Well, before a woman goes into menopause, there is what we call a perimenopause. It is when, usually you just have the different type of symptoms, including hot flashes, insomnia, or, backaches. And woman is going to tell you, stay away from us, when we're going through this stage. But, to be very honest, it is, not as horrible as the women make it sound. The people that really suffer from it are the men, not the women. Okay, the men that have to be beside a woman that is going through it. Well, so how do we define menopause? We define menopause as actually 12 months after the last menstrual period. That's when we actually define it. And it is when the production, when your hormones really get imbalanced. And this is the reason why women have all of those symptoms. So all of these symptoms, they are actually not a sickness. They are actually okay. They are a very natural stage of the life of a human being. Whenever, we get sick, or whenever we have a particular symptoms, the very first thing is that we want to say, well, is there something to replace it, or is there something to cure it? So take, for example, if my stomach doesn't feel well, and then usually I will go to the hospital and we would check my blood, we would check everything, and we say, what am I lacking of? Well, if I have a stomach problem, and then we go check it, and then they're going to tell me, well, maybe you're missing a particular enzyme. And then we have this urge to say, well, can I replace it? Okay? Or, if I go to the hospital, and then I say, well, I'm having some menopausal symptoms. And then they check it, and they say, oh, when you go through this stage of life, your hormones are imbalanced, and so forth. And then they are going to say, well, should we replace it? We always think about replacement therapy, because every time we think about, well, as long as I replace it, then I'm going to be okay, or then I'm going to be younger. That's not going to be the case. We have to remember that we as humans, there is a reason of the way we're created. There is a reason why we go through the different stages of it. By replacing it, it doesn't mean that we're going to stay younger. Or by replacing it, it doesn't mean that we are going to have a cure. In fact, by replacing it, we are going to create dependency, and we are going to create side effect. Take, for example, for women, okay, if we replace it with hormone therapy, then you're going to find that we're going to increase all sorts of side effects, including gynecological tumors by 20%. As long as you just use it for 1 year, the hormone replacement therapy, the risk of osteoporosis is going to increase by 26%. So how does that work? You're going to say, well, we as women, okay, when we go through this stage, the hormone goes down, so I replace it. Then why am I getting all of this side effect? Well, quite easy. You have to realize that every single one of us, men or women, every single day my hormone is going to be just a little bit different. If I'm happy, my hormone is going to be different. If I don't sleep well, it's going to be secreted differently. If I'm sad, it's going to be different. But here's the problem. When I replace it, it doesn't know my emotions. And when I replace it, it doesn't account for all the animal product I'm also eating. And so when I replace it, sometimes it goes overboard. It becomes over. And when it is over, it's going to give me breast cancer. It's going to give me all sorts of tumors. Okay? Well, in the same token, if I say, well, my digestive system is not working well, so I'm going to replace it with an enzyme. At the very beginning, you're going to say, it works so well. And you're going to say, gosh, this must be a very healthy medication or a health food. Sometimes they label it. But you have to realize, when you replace it, your body is going to say, well, if you're going to replace it, I do not have to secrete it anymore. So after a while, you're going to become dependent on it. Your body is going to say, if you're going to give it to me, I'll just be lazy, okay? And then one of these days, it's going to stop the secretion of it. Let me give you another example. I can take someone that is completely healthy. If I give him or her insulin on a daily basis, in no time, he's going to come down with diabetes. Okay? Why? His body is going to say, if you're going to give me insulin, then I do not have to secrete insulin. So after a while, your body becomes dependent on it. And then once it becomes dependent on it, then it's going to stop the secretion of it. So replacement therapy, it doesn't matter whether it is hormone replacement therapy or any type of a actually replaces a function of your body. Just remember, it's going to take over, and you're going to become dependent on a long-term basis. And you don't call anything that is replacing a function of your body, you don't call that a health food. It doesn't matter, it can come from plant, but you should not call it healthy. It is a medication. Another example, a very easy example, okay? if you think parking in the handicapped is bad, try this one. If you really don't want to walk, there is a chair called wheelchair. Okay, you can sit on it. You don't have to sit for long. All you have to do is 1 year. After 1 year, you won't be able to walk any longer. Okay, the 2 wheels is going to replace your 2 legs. That's how it works. So, replacement therapy, you can only use it for short term, but not for long term. If you use hormone replacement therapy just for a year, you increase heart disease risk by 80%, heart attack risk by 29%, stroke by 41%. Okay? So what is the difference between animal estrogens and phytoestrogens? Phytoestrogens coming from plant, animal estrogens coming from meat that we are eating. So let us take a look. Animal estrogens, it's going to increase your cancer risk. But yet, phytoestrogens, they decrease it. Animal estrogens increase cardiovascular disease. Phytoestrogens actually decrease it. Stroke goes up with animal estrogens. Osteoporosis goes up with animal estrogens, whereas all the other ones get decreased. Okay, so let us take a look into phytoestrogens or plant estrogens. But before we go into that, well, there are some tips that I want you to understand about animal estrogens. Where do I get the most animal estrogens in my diet? Well, from one of the favorite fast food that most everyone loves, okay, fried chicken. Okay, so where do I get the most estrogen out of the chicken? From the skin. Okay, so, when you fry something, okay, especially in the deep oil, and then you're going to say, well, but that, they use vegetable oil, so that should be good. Okay, just remember, in nature, vegetable oil doesn't exist. In nature, naturally. Okay, you may say, well, but they're vegetable oil. They come from nature. They come from, take for example, corn, right? So they should be okay, right? After all, corn is a plant. But you have to realize that in nature, there is no such thing as corn oil or soybean oil. Okay? When the oil is inside the soybean, it's inside the corn, it is okay. It is in combination with all the other antioxidants, all the fibers inside. In nature, you do not have the vegetable oils alone. Okay, so it is completely different. In the ancient times, they don't have vegetable oils. That's why in the ancient times, heart disease doesn't rate as #1 killer in the world. And now it does. Okay, so when I take that, which is filled with omega-6, and then I fry it in my food, especially the skin, okay, it is filled with estrogens. And then you're going to tell me and then say, well, if I fry the chicken without the skin, it's not tasty. That is the best part of the chicken, right? Yes? Okay? Then, well, this is the way you eat it. If you want to eat the fried chicken, peel away, okay? Peel it away because it's filled with vegetable oils, which is very, very bad for your immune system. And then the skin filled with the animal estrogens. And then you're going to say, but if I eat the fried chicken and I peel the skin away, then it's no good, right? Yeah, I admit, it's no good. So why bother eat it? Okay, so next time, try not to eat that, okay? So you're going to say, well, what about phytoestrogens? Phytoestrogens, they can actually regulate our immune system, and they do not cause cancer. They inhibit the uncontrolled cell growth And so it is very good for our immune system. Phytoestrogens, that means estrogens that is inside the plant food. Okay? Now, most of you have heard the story that people tell you. They say, well, when you get breast cancer, do not eat soybeans. Have you ever heard about it? Yes, people tell you, well, inside plant, there are these estrogens that are bad for you. Well, that was a very ancient research, okay? The very first research that we have discovered, what we call phytoestrogen, is inside the soybeans. So we find this nutrient inside the soybeans that has a very similar structure to animal estrogens. So during that time, when we find this structure, without the further research, then we make the theory saying if animal estrogen causes cancer, then in theory, then the plant estrogens should also cause cancer. But then in further research, it has been proven wrong already. How do we find that? And how come inside the plant, it actually prevents us from getting cancer? It goes like this. Animal estrogens, they are very, very strong, whereas plant estrogens, they are very weak. They are 1,000 times, 10,000 times weaker than animal estrogens. So inside the cells, there is what we call an estrogen receptor on our cells. So imagine this, okay? There is the estrogen. Imagine it just like a key, okay, that we open up the door. So the estrogen is the key. And then inside your cell, there is a keyhole where we call the estrogen receptor. So when an animal estrogen, like the key, comes along, okay, and it's going to find a keyhole that fits the key. Once it fits in, it is so strong, the animal estrogen, it can actually turn the key. It's just like opening up the door. And then once it turns the key, it turns the cell into a tumor cell. Okay? Now, how does a phytoestrogen prevent cancer? The phytoestrogen is very weak. So the phytoestrogen comes along, and then it also finds this keyhole, the estrogen receptor. It fits into the key, but then it is not strong enough to actually turn open the door. It is too weak to turn open the door. So, in fact, it actually fills up all of the keyholes, so weak that it would just merely fill it up, not strong enough to actually open the door. So once the phytoestrogen fills up all of these keyholes, here comes the animal estrogen. It comes along, but it cannot find any more keyholes so that it can actually fill in. This is how phytoestrogens actually prevent us from getting cancer. Now, the very first research that people does is on soybeans. They find that inside soy, there are phytoestrogens. So everyone focused their attention on phytoestrogens inside soy. But then, as the research continues, we find that there are phytoestrogens in every vegetable that you're eating, in every plant food that there is. Soy just happens to be the very first ones that scientists have researched. That means that phytoestrogens is in every single plant food that you're eating. You cannot avoid it, and you do not want to avoid it. So next time, if someone tells you that phytoestrogens is going to cause cancer, then just understand it is merely an ancient research and with the theory inside it. If you would like to find a scientific evidence, the pathway, the metabolic pathway of how it works, feel free to write me, and I'll write back the complete scientific answer to it. In fact, we did a seminar in Singapore for all of the medical audience, the doctors, about this subject with all the research that have proven that phytoestrogens are actually good for our body instead of, when people think that soybeans can actually cause cancer. It's not true. Now, looking into the research, we're finding that soybeans, they contain what we call genistein. Genistein is a phytoestrogen, which we also call a phytochemical. Genistein can prevent us from getting cancer. Okay? Menopause strategies, of course, every one of us know this. As long as you quit smoking, avoid alcoholic drinks, do more exercise, okay? Yes, you are going to find that the symptoms are not as severe. But you're going to find that, by changing your diet a little bit, it can also help with all the different symptoms of it. So let us take a look into the different plant food that have the most abundant amount of phytoestrogens inside. Now, when we're talking about this, I have not listed soybeans inside. Soybeans, in fact, contains one of the highest phytoestrogens there is. This is the reason why Japanese women usually have the least symptoms of menopause in research. So because, they eat quite a bit of soybeans. North American women, they usually have more menopausal symptoms because inside the diet, plant food seems to have less amount in the diet. Therefore, these symptoms becomes more severe. But then, we do not want to talk about phytoestrogens merely in the sense for menopausal women. But phytoestrogens are actually good for both men and women in the prevention against different type of cancer, especially when your diet contains a lot of animal estrogens. If you're a meat lover, then you actually want to counterbalance with more phytoestrogens. So take a look at this. Chinese yam, sage, raspberry, ginkgo, and licorice. All of these are food. They are not herbal medicines. So in your normal diet, whenever you go to the supermarket, eat more of this. Okay, and you're going to find that it is very good. It will supplement you with more phytoestrogens. Chinese yam. Now this Chinese yam, I don't know if you can find it here, but it is quite popular in the different supermarkets in Asia. Okay, so this thing, it helps you to support your blood pressure, and it also helps to support the health of your heart. It boosts your immune system, especially the polysaccharides. So it helps to increase the function of your T cells. And with the different polysaccharides, it also helps you to fight the different tumors. It has also a very good antioxidant effect, and so it is very good in your nervous system as well. Sage. It helps you to relieve hot flashes and night sweat. It is also very rich in phytoestrogens. It nourishes the immune system. It also has very high antioxidant activities, and it has an anti-inflammatory effect. Raspberry. It is rich also in phytoestrogens, and it also helps to relieve hot flashes. It contains anthocyanins and also a very high amount of vitamin C. It has 50% higher antioxidant activity compared to strawberries, and 10 times the antioxidant activity of tomatoes. Raspberry extract has been found to inhibit cervical cancer cell production. Ginkgo. Every single one of you have heard about it. It is rich also in phytoestrogen. And, some people are going to tell you ginkgo is toxic. Have you ever heard about it? Yeah? Okay. Well, then let's talk about the good things about it first. It is rich, very rich in phytoestrogens. Okay, so with it, it helps to prevent heart diseases, and it actually enhances our immune system. It can also help to prevent osteoporosis, and its antioxidant activity is also very high. Okay, so is ginkgo toxic? Yes, in high amounts. it is toxic? Because it contains what we call a ginkgo toxin inside. Okay, how does the toxin work? It combines with the vitamin B. Okay, it depletes the vitamin B away from you. That's how come it is toxic, especially the vitamin B6. But okay, it takes a big amount of ginkgo before it is toxic. And usually, you find the toxicity occurring to children, not to adults. Or else, you won't find ginkgo in the restaurants. Okay, like, in the Chinese restaurant, in the Japanese restaurant, you always find they stir fry your vegetables with the ginkgo nuts inside, right? Okay, well, how come it only occurs to, like, children and not to adults? Well, because for adults, okay, we tend to retain more vitamin Bs, whereas children, they've got less vitamin B retained inside the liver. Okay, so when children eat large amount of ginkgo nuts, it depletes the vitamin B, and so they get sick, they get nauseated, they throw up with it. So if I eat ginkgo, and then at the same time I take in vitamin B, you don't get sick with it. Okay? Now, what is the amount that you need to get really sick with it? Well, for children, not for adults, okay? For children, you take in about 80 to 100 nuts, okay, ginkgo nuts at one time, 80 to 100, okay, at one time, okay? Then you may get sick, the children. For adults, you take in about 200 ginkgo nuts at a time, okay? But if you take in vitamin B, you're okay, okay? But then, okay, we're also finding that there is a season that you can harvest your ginkgo nuts so that it contains very little amount of ginkgo toxin inside. Okay, so the different seasons, okay, toxicity is higher when you harvest at the end of July and at the beginning of August. Okay, you avoid this season, and you're going to find that the ginkgo toxin inside the ginkgo nuts are usually not very high. So you avoid this season. Then for adults, you have to take in about 400 ginkgo nuts at one time before you're going to feel any effect. Okay? So harvest also make a difference. Licorice. Licorice is also very high in phytoestrogens. But just remember, all of these phytoestrogens compare to the animal estrogens, the activity is very, very weak. So, in fact, it is very good for your health. It's not going to be harmful. People are going to tell you that licorice may also raise your blood sugar, blood pressure. Yeah, not blood sugar, but your blood pressure. It's not going to, not in the amount that you're eating. Okay, you'll have to take in a large amount and continuously for at least 2 weeks before your blood pressure is going to go up. Okay, have you ever tried those licorice candies? Yeah, okay, those candies, you haven't tried them? Children usually eat them. They come in like a rod. Yes, soft, and they chew on it. Yeah. Even for those candy, you'll have to eat in large quantities, or else, your blood pressure will not go up. If it is that toxic, or if it raises your blood pressure so much, don't worry, they won't allow it to make it into candies. Okay? But the good thing is the phytoestrogens inside the licorice, all you need is a small amount of it, not enough to raise your blood pressure, but just a small quantity of it is enough to give you a lot of phytoestrogens inside. It also has different antioxidant effect to it. So people ask me this question all the time. Are phytoestrogens safe for men? Okay, of course they are. Why? They are part of every single vegetable and fruit that you're eating. There is not a single vegetable that you can find in the supermarket that does not contain phytoestrogens inside. So my answer to this is, very, very simple. People ask me, can my baby boy, drink soy? Okay, of course. Soy contains one of the largest amount of phytoestrogens inside. If it's going to affect the baby boy, if it's going to affect the male testosterone levels, just remember, we are not going to have soy formula for babies, okay? Soys are safe. They are safe for babies, and phytoestrogens, they are not strong enough to affect the male hormones, and they do not have any effect on the sperm concentration, so they are very safe even as a baby formula for boys. And phytoestrogens can also help men in preventing different types of cancer, including prostate cancer. So phytoestrogens are very nutritious for both men and women. So take a look into it. You just take a look at all of this plant food. Are any of them medications? No. They are merely food that we can find in the supermarket. So then let's take a look, not in what we have just seen previously. You may relate to this food saying, well, are they only for women, for menopausal women? No, they are not. So let us take it into another perspective. Okay, Chinese yam. For men, they help to support the blood pressure and the heart. And it also helps to boost the immune system. It helps us to prevent prostate cancer. And it has antioxidant activity to it, and it supports the nervous system. The sage is, in fact, very high in antioxidant effect, and it helps with our overall immune system. Raspberry, okay? You can find this fruit in the supermarket too. Its antioxidant effect is very, very high. So it is a lot higher than strawberries. Ginkgo, it helps us to boost our memory. It helps to improve the immune system. It is anti-cancer, and it has antioxidant activity that helps to fight the free radical damage. It also helps to lower the risk of cardiovascular disease. Licorice has antioxidant activities, and it also helps to boost the memory and improve the immune system. So here, for your convenience, I'd like to introduce to you one of our newest products called V-Estro. Okay? In Chinese, it is called 美乐仪. So, EXO products are merely here for your convenience. We do not sell secrets. We sell convenience. So if you take a look at all of these different ingredients, in fact, you do not have to use EXO products at all. You can just eat it at your own home, and you'll get the same benefit. So out of the 5 different ingredients, if I want to eat it on my own, which ones would I choose? If I have to choose only 2, the ones I would choose is, in addition to these 5, eat soy. Okay? Eat plenty of soy. Soy contains a lot of phytoestrogens. And then, out of all of this, if I have to choose 2, choose the Chinese yam and sage. Okay? So, in the supermarket, if I find Chinese yam, okay, you buy it, okay, and then go home, cook with it, you are going to get the same effect. Whereas V-Estro, it is concentrated. Okay, a lot of it, we use the technique of freeze drying the product, and also we use spray drying technique in the processing of our different ingredients. We do not use any chemicals in our extractions. Therefore, our product, we try to maintain it as wholesome as possible. So V-Estro is not a secret. It is merely here for your convenience. So if you do not have time to prepare the food at home, then you can use V-Estro. It is best to use V-Estro, once, especially for women, once you reach 40 years old. For what reason? Well, once your hormones start to get imbalanced, then it is good just to have it beforehand. You're going to find that with V-Estro, especially with some phytoestrogens in your life, it would also help you prevent osteoporosis. So V-Estro is suitable for both men and women. It is a food. It is not a medication. So let us take a look at the different combinations of it. Okay, we're going to tell ourselves, well, when we get older, we get osteoporosis. So what can I do with it? Then you're going to say, well, I'm going to take plenty of calcium pills. And just calcium pills alone doesn't work. So what do? I take it together with vitamin D so that I can absorb better. But we have to realize that once we've got osteoporosis, even if you take plenty of calcium pills for 3 years straight in a row, how much can you improve? Well, you can improve your bone density about 3 to 5%. That's it. Yes, that's it. Okay? That means, it doesn't work that well. But then, with the amount of calcium pills that you're taking, chances of you getting kidney stones is a lot higher. Okay? So, what do we need? Well, we actually need some phytoestrogens just before you get osteoporosis in life. So, if you supplement with some phytoestrogens, change your diet a little bit, eat a little bit of soy, then you're going to find you'll be able to absorb better the calcium. And not only that you'll be able to prevent osteoporosis. So over here, you can combine V-Estro with NutriFresh, which is just a wholesome soy product, or you can just eat some soy at your own, and one of our products called Aromantic, which contains the highest amount of calcium inside the product line. Okay, V-Estro, you can also combine it with oat seed and acerine. Why oat seed? Oat seed contains kiwi seed. Okay, kiwi is, yes, it's the kiwi that you're thinking about, the kiwi from New Zealand, yes. Okay, the kiwis, next time when you buy kiwi, I know there are some kiwi. When you cut it, there is not much seed inside. The seed, I mean the black things, the kiwi seed, okay? Next time, don't buy those kiwis. The kiwi that you want to buy are the kiwis that when you cut open, they're filled with seeds inside. A very healthy kiwi contains how many seeds? I've counted it. Okay? It actually can come up to 1,000 seeds inside. Okay? So those kiwis are the very, very best. Why? Well, people say we should take fish oil. Have you ever heard about people taking fish oil? Yeah? Yes? Okay, why? Well, they take fish oil for omega-3, correct? Right? So the theory goes like this about fish oil, okay? Well, in EXL, we are more towards the vegetarian. We are not prone animal product, as you probably have noticed. So, yes, I'll just put it out plain, okay? I'm against fish oils, okay? So, why am I against it? Well, this is the way I look at it, okay? The reason they say we should eat fish oil, okay, according to the people that like fish oil, it goes like this. They say the fish, contains, the fish oil contains EPA and DHA. You have heard about that, right? Yeah, they say, EPA is very good for your brain, and DHA is also good for your brain. EPA is good for your heart, and so forth. And then they say, all the plant food, there is no DHA or EPA. Inside the plant food, there is only ALA. Okay? Therefore, we should eat the fish oil because it contains DHA and EPA. But then you have to realize, how does the fish have DHA and EPA? How does it come about? Well, the fish eat the plant food, the seaweed. And then the seaweed, the plant food, contains ALA, one of the omega-3. Okay? And then the fish converts the ALA into DHA and EPA. Well, what they are trying to tell us is the fish is smarter than the humans. Okay? Because they are telling us, well, only the fish can convert ALA into DHA and EPA. Well, that's not the truth, okay? We as humans, we're smarter than the fish, believe it or not. I know some of you may doubt it, but okay. But when we as humans, when we eat a food that is filled with ALA, we as humans are actually quite smart. And yes, we can convert it into DHA and also EPA as we need it. The second reason why I'm not really in favor of fish oil, it is because of, sometimes, most of the fish oil, they come from the skin of the fish. Okay, that's where they have the most oils. But now, a lot of the seas, a lot of the fish, they are contaminated with mercury because of industrial pollution. And mercury is actually accumulated on the skin of the fish. Mercury makes your blood clot together. Okay, so you're going to find, especially in Finland, they did a research. They are finding the fishermen, they die from heart disease very, very quickly. Why? And then from the hair, their nails, we are finding mercury accumulation from the contaminations. It is from the fish that they are eating. The other source of fish oil is coming from the fish liver, the liver oil, okay, or from the seal. And all of those are not environmentally friendly, and the liver is quite a toxic organ. It is, where you filter your blood, and so you do not want to have the oil coming from there, okay? We can eat plant food, and you are going to have the benefit of omega-3. So there are two foods that has one of the highest amount of ALA inside. One of them is the kiwi seed, okay? So oat seed is made up with kiwi seed, okay? The other thing is called chia seed, okay? The two seeds are very high in ALA. And like I say, our product is merely here for your convenience, so you don't have to eat oat seed. This is what you do. Next time, like I say, you cut open this kiwi, you find the kiwi, count it, 1,000 seeds at least. Just joking, okay. You want to have a kiwi fruit that is filled with seeds. The more seeds there is, the better it is for you, because the seed has very high amount of ALA, okay? So how much do I need a day, okay? If you find the kiwi with the 1,000 seed, one is enough, okay? If you find the kiwi with only 500, eat two. Very simple, right? Okay. If you do not find the kiwi fruit, then there is oat seed. Okay? So once you have the ALA, yes, you will convert it into DHA and EPA. So, when we get older, then we need omega-3. Okay, therefore, V-Estro combined with oat seed for your omega-3, that is very, very good. And then, last of all, you can combine it with aspirin. Aspirin is help to support your nervous system, so you can have a good night's sleep, okay? Or you can combine V-Estro together with aromatic and with G-Art. Okay, G-Art is very good for your bones. So if you are over 40, then try to protect your joint. Okay, prevention is always much better than cure. So V-Estro, you can combine it with Vigaplex as well, or with ST. Vigaplex, just like the name, it is especially formulated for vegetarians. I mean complete vegetarians, okay? So Vigaplex contains very high amount of cherries, okay? But this type of cherry is a different type of cherries. So it is filled with vitamin C, okay? And then Vigaplex is also high in vitamin B12 for complete vegetarians, okay? And then ST is also here to support your immune system. So these are all good combinations, but in fact, you can combine it any way you like. V-Estro products are merely food products. They are not medications, so you can eat them any way you like to eat them. Before meals or after meals, you can eat them. But if it's my choice, I will eat them before meals so that I can absorb even better. So V-Estro is going to be launched today. So this afternoon, I would like to share with you one of our newest products that is going to be launched next year. It is called Orchestra. Some of you have tried it in Macau, and so this afternoon, I would like to share with you, for some of you that haven't gone to Macau, so that you can get to know our newest product that will be launched next year. Thank you very much for your attention this morning. Thank you.